During the early 90s, arcades were going through a renaissance era since the release of Street Fighter II and Mortal Kombat, and as well as popularizing the fighting game genre. So Nintendo decided to have another attempt at a fighting game ever since Urban Champion on the NES, in which I did not know that Urban Champion was a fighting game, like at all, until I actually researched it. So what is up guys, it's your boy Mr. A.I.G, back again with another What Is video. And today's video will be on Nintendo's underrated and Nintendo's first and only attempt at a 2D fighting game called Joy Mech Fight. The development of the game first started off when two programmers, Koichi Yasushita and Koichiro Eto, met at a programming seminar hosted by Nintendo. Surprisingly, both programmers actually finished the game while at the seminar, in which I'll admit, it's actually quite impressive. The higher-ups at Nintendo saw the game and decided to hire both programmers and publish the game. Upon hiring both programmers under the Nintendo R&D1, the game went by a different name called Battle League, but Nintendo didn't like the name, so they changed the title to Joy Mech Fight. The game was released on May 21st, 1993 on the on the Famicom System. Yeah, Nintendo was still supporting the Famicom while the Super Famicom was still new during that time. And to remind you, the Super Famicom was released on November 21st, 1990. When you boot up the game, you notice this pink oval head limbless character dancing and clapping his hands like he doesn't even have a care in the world. Well, all the characters in the game are all limbless robots. And the reason for this is because due to the limitation of the Famicom system, animating large characters consists of using many sprites. So the best approach was to make all the robot characters limbless. This allows the animation for the characters to go smoothly. So that's the development of the game. So what about the game itself? After pressing the start button, you get to see the menu. You get the typical player versus computer, 2-player mode, computer versus computer, and 1-player story mode. There's secretly a training mode in the players versus computer mode, and selecting any character in story mode. Select the character that you want and select the second option, manual. There are 3 options available: demo mode, test mode, and end. Demo mode will give you the option of choosing 4 movesets to choose from. Selecting one of the movesets will let the game, obviously demo the moveset for you, and the inputs and how to do it on screen with a large Famicom controller, which is a nice touch to help the player understand if they're actually doing the move right and on how to do it. Test mode is basically just training mode, and the end option will take you back to the main menu. The game plays like any traditional 2D fighting game during that time. You get the standard punch, punch, kick, jump kick, leg sweep, and in this game, tapping forward and pressing the A button with any character is called a good punch. Pressing or holding the down directional button is guard. Each character has 4 special moves. For example, tapping A and B will allow Sukapon to do a disconnected headbutt. Holding down the directional button and pressing A allows him to throw a copy of his head to his opponent. Pressing or tapping the back or forward directional button and pressing A near the opponent will cause him to throw the other fighter. Hold the back directional button for him to do a rolling attack. In test mode, the amount of damage done to your opponent is indicated below on the right, and on the left is the move that you use on your opponent. There are some characters that have special inputs during certain moves that the game doesn't tell you. Like when Sukapon does his roll, you can control it by pressing, let's say, A or B button for him to do a vertical, upper, or forward hop. On the other note, there are some characters that don't have any throws in their moveset, in which I will get into when we get to meet the other characters later on. When you start a match, there is no time limit or rounds. Each fighter has 3 stocks, 2 hearts, and a health bar. If you lose all your health, we'll stop the match and reset the fighter's position from the beginning. The defeated fighter will lose a heart, the other fighter will regain some health because of it. Sometimes if you take too much damage, your character or the opponent's character will try to readjust themselves. You can either wait or get hit. This will cause you to be vulnerable for only a few seconds. So now we know how it's played. How does it control? Well, in my honest opinion, it controls very well and smooth. The inputs are responsive and learning the combos is very easy to do, even if you never played a fighting game before. So give props to the programmers for making this possible, especially on the Famicom system back then. Now for the first player story mode, or in this case called Player 1, One Player War. So what's the story about? When two famous scientists, Dr. Little Emin and Dr. Ivan Walnuts, who were close best friends and built robots together. One day, Dr. Emin went back to his lab and only to realize his lab was destroyed and his 7 robots were gone. He then realized that his best friend, Dr. Walnuts, was gone too. This caused him to temporarily stop inventing for a while. One day while Dr. Emmett was watching television, Dr. Walnut showed up and declared war on the world with his 7 reprogrammed robots. Shocked and overcome with his grief of his best friend betraying him, Emmett went to rebuild his lab and made Sukapon, a Wadi robot, or the English translation, a comedy/gag robot, into a super fighting robot to stop Dr. Walnuts and his 7 deadly robots. After the introduction, you get to choose any of the 7 robots to fight in any order you choose from. Here's the English translation for each robot character in order. I'll try to give any specific detail on what makes them stand out, so I do apologize if I leave something out. So anyway, let's get right to it. Let's see on what makes each robot character so unique. First up, being Flame, a robot made of fire with long-range attacks and anti-air attacks. Tiger, who has a devastating uppercut similar to Sagat from Street Fighter. Neo has 2 floating orange orbs and has a special move similar to Chun-Li. Senju uses drills, Sasuke, and before anyone asks, and no, there's no character named Naruto in this game, he uses claws to cover distance from his opponents. Ai has a counterattack that deals heavy damage if the opponent touches him, but the downside of using this attack is that you'll lose some health in the process. Giant is a strong type character with 2 wrecking balls as his hands that has strong moves like his headbutt, shockwave, and power bombing his opponent. The downside is that he moves really slow. Wait a minute. 7 robots, fighting them in any order, 2 scientists that were best friends and later turned enemies, and turning non-robots into fighting robots. Wait, no. Super fighting robots. Oh my god, it is just secretly the plot of Mega Man. And you just turn it into a fighting game without using any Mega Man characters. Plus a little bit of sprinkle of Street Fighter there and there, but still. But then again, this was released in 1993, so I mean, inspiration, I guess? Defeating each robot will cause the robot to explode. A cutscene will play where Dr. Little Emin will come in a mini UFO ship to carry the head of the defeated robot so he can reprogram them. You can now select the robot you defeated to join our side. After experimenting with the other robots and how they play, I actually went for the character Flame, since I kind of like his playstyle, especially when he uses anti-air attacks. After you defeated all of the 7 robots, you now have to face the stage boss, first being Dachan, a robot ostrich that uses his large neck to peck at you. After you defeat a stage boss, a small montage will play on what character you played and what special move you did on the other robot. One more thing before I go on. If you go back to the main menu, you will now unlock hard mode. The game doesn't tell you this because on my first playthrough of the game, I completed story mode on normal mode and I had to look up the game online to see if I missed anything, and it turns out I did, but I'll get to that later on. It turns out that Dr. Walnuts has made even more robots in his conquest to take over the world. From here on out, you can't reprogram the other robots. You're stuck with the original 8 robots you have in story mode. In stage 2, it now consists of, in order, Zack, that has no froze in his moveset whatsoever. His special moves are only just charging up. Yeah, sure, if the move actually connects, it deals heavy damage, but it's just too easy to avoid. I'm not sure it's just me. Every time Zack guards in this game, he kind of looks a little bit like Squidward. I mean, just look at it. I mean, here's a side-by-side comparison. Does it not look like Squidward to you? The next character is Bok Bok. He has a spin move, and he has this one other move called Nonsense, his limbless robotic arms around like a crazy maniac. It kind of gets annoying, because when I was fighting him in story mode, he kind of used that a lot. And I mean a lot. Geo has 2 orange orbs, but unlike Neo, Geo actually uses his orange orbs in his special moves. Grak mostly uses his 4 sharp robotic feet and has a move similar to Tiger. Ode uses his shovel arms and is the second character that doesn't have any pros. Jibber. Screw this character and his smug ass smile. Every single time I try to fight him, he kept on using this special move called Broken Arms, in which it covers a huge amount of distance. And he uses this move a lot. Gel's main gimmick is that he turns invisible. Skater's basically, well, he's a skater boy, and she said see ya later boy. Yeah, that basically sums up his character. And he's the third character that doesn't have any pros. Defeat all those robots and you'll now face the second stage boss. For the second stage boss, Raw consists of using his strong throw and his strong knee attack. Stage 3 now consists of more robots with more stupider names and reuse movesets from other fighters, such as Legend, Hover, the fourth character that doesn't have a throw, Zhang Long, a dragon robot that shoots fireballs and has a good throw. Star has a powerful crossbody move called Stardust and is the fifth character that doesn't have a throw. Ghoston, he's basically just Raw, but as a ghost. And yes, I'm being serious when I say this. Giganto is basically just a better version of Giant. Up next is John. Oh, seriously, that's his name. John. The English translation for this character is called John. And you see, I wasn't joking when I said that the characters' names are going to get more ridiculous than before. His character description in the game says that he's basically just a mixture of Bok Bok and Geo, from his appearance all the way to his moveset. Last but not least, Super Zack, or which I like to call him Super Squidward. He's the better version of the original Zack. He doesn't have to charge up his special moves, he has a throw, and he can shoot missiles. The third stage boss is called Garborg. He's probably one of the most easier bosses in the game. Yeah, there's nothing much to say about him. You must now face the clone characters of the original 8. The only difference is that the name of the clone characters are different and they have a different color. Just like before, in order, Blaze, Leo, Nei, Ashura, Hanzor, Y, Gian, and this very derpy looking Sukapon. After that, you will now face the final boss, Ho-Ho, on the freaking moon. Get ready for possibly the most broken, spammiest character in the entire game. Because once I face him, I died a bunch of times. All I had to say is this. Hey Ho-Ho, my name is Suka. Sukapon these nuts. A cutscene will now play where Dr. Walnuts will try to escape, but his UFO spaceship malfunctions for some reason, in which this caused his ship to explode. Okay, look, I'm sorry, but he should have been dead, either from that explosion or due to the lack of oxygen. I mean, come on, there's no way someone can survive that. Fuck it, just roll with it, I guess. Dr. Little Emin then abducts Dr. Walnuts to his ship, and after Dr. Walnuts wakes up, he doesn't remember anything that happens. Okay, once again, I'm sorry, but after Dr. Walnuts declared war on the world, I'm pretty sure the government's gonna come after his ass. Better yet, why did he try to take over the world? Does he have split personality? Did he got amnesia towards the end? Not even the freaking manual says it. I just don't know. In the end, Sukapon goes back to being a comedian robot and becomes the world's greatest comedian. As for the other robots, I don't know. I tried to defeat the final boss with the other characters and nothing happens. It's the same result as the first time. After the credits roll, if you beat this game on hard mode, you unlock special mode, and the other robot characters are now playable in versus mode, minus the boss characters, once you beat special mode. After you complete special mode, that's basically it. There's nothing much to do after that. According to the cutting room floor, there were plans to be 2 more robot characters, a toy-like robot and a clown robot, and as well as unused music. There are 3 secrets in this game. If you have a second controller plugged in training mode, you can actually control Zack before you even unlock him. On the title screen, press the B button and select button to open up the game's sound menu. The first option is music, the second and third option is the sound effects, the fourth option lets you erase your game, and the fifth option lets you return to the title screen. The final secret is that if you highlight any of the versus mode and then hold B, A, select, start, the game will randomly select characters and it will continue to do this until you reset the game. Overall, that was Joy Mech Fight. In the end, I had fun playing this short fighting game. Playing this game did get repetitive sometimes, especially when you have to unlock all the characters. But the flow of the game and easy to learn combos makes me want more from this game. There's even a small cult following. I mean, just look at this. Someone made a tiers list of all the characters. And on YouTube, there's some YouTubers that made specific videos on how to play as the character. Now it's time for the speculation part of the video. on why this game was not released in the West, even to this day. Obviously, this game was released late on the Famicom System's lifespan, and the Super Famicom was still relatively new at the time. There wasn't really a point to port the game to the NES because, well, I'm pretty sure people at that time already had the Super Nintendo. Fast forward a few years later, and the Nintendo Switch Online allows you to play NES games as well as Super Nintendo games. On the Japanese side, you get to play Famicom games as well as Super Famicom games. For some reason, there's games that didn't get released in the West are actually on the NES and Super NES Online. So I still don't understand why they do this. I mean, I don't mind. I mean, we get games that didn't get released in the West, but after all that time, still no Joy Mech Fight for some reason. Like, what the hell, Nintendo? If you already know, for the sake of this video, I actually had to make a Japanese account. If you still want to play this game, there's a fan-made English translation online. That's if you want to emulate the game. That's basically up to you. Now for the question, what did happen to Sukapon? He appeared as a sticker in Super Smash Brothers Brawl. Then in 2018, he appeared as an assist trophy and a spirit in Super Smash Brothers Ultimate. Will this series ever come back? I don't really know. I mean, I'll be glad if it comes back. Can you imagine if this game got like a sequel or a reboot of some sort with new modes, a new story mode, a better online? I'm looking at you, Smash Brothers. And who knows, maybe add in a special guest character, Rayman. I mean, kind of fits. I mean, just look at him. Who knows, maybe this might be a brand new fighting game esport for Nintendo. Oh wait, I forgot. Nintendo hates esports, especially Smash Brothers. But if that doesn't happen, I kind of imagine Sukapon being a guest character in ARMS if there was a sequel. I mean, that would be really cool. I mean, hey, one could dream, right? Fun fact, did you know that this game had the largest fighting roster during that time? With a total of 36 fighters. Up until the King of Fighters 98. Well, I guess that wraps things up. And remember, take care, be safe, have yourself a great day, and I'll see you back here with your boy, Mr. A.I.G. Until next time, peace out.